Welcome to today's episode, Karma, and join me while I completely dissect karma from what it means to the different types of karma, but also unravel some potential traps you may fall into when navigating your own karma. So, are we all puppets pulled by the strings of karma? And can we truly escape the cycle? Let's find out. Hi everyone, my name is Bhavna and welcome back to the Universe, and my video series is Spirituality a Trap? Journeying with the Multidimensional Healer. The word karma comes from Sanskrit and means action or deed. And the way I like to see this is that simply karma are the actions that happen to us throughout our lives here on earth. But of course, karma is way more complicated than that. As I said in my awakening episode, the simplest way to define karma is through the karmic law. The karmic law dictates that every action and reaction, whether good or bad, carries both positive and negative consequences in this world of free will and dualities. Karma is a hard thing to define, and in one way, not everything can be known about it. Call it the karma of karma itself. We live in a cycle where one cannot know the exact details of karma because, as humans, naturally we would want to outsmart the system. Before diving in further, let's address one of the perceptions of karma. Many people see karma as a negative aspect. The focus is usually punishment and payback. If you do something bad, it will chase you and eventually come back for you. Or if something negative has happened to someone, they explore the idea of, what did I do to deserve this? Maybe it was karma or payback for something I did. When something good happens, it is viewed as luck, God's blessing, destiny, and even hard work. The reality is that both good and bad that happened and continues to happen to all of us is all karma. So just like the dualities, there are of course two sides within karma, good and bad. The karmic debt you owe, bad karma, created by you yourself. The karma you collect or you are owed, good karma, also created by you yourself. Bad karma or karmic debt is all the negative things that have happened in your life, especially the unexplained ones. Bad karma is created through temptation, human desires that do not align with your soul's desires, and wrong actions throughout all of your past lives. Everything good in your life is essentially good karma, and it is payback or collection for the right actions and choices you have made throughout your lives. Good karma is connected to your soul's desires, so it is actually a necessity. It is necessary to create enough good karma for your soul to fulfill its desires. Karma can further be broken down into categories, and although understanding the negative aspect is key here, in order to clear and break away from karma, there is positive and good karma in everything. Karmic patterns. These are negative emotional patterns that we stay stuck in until we can break free from them. They are self-inflicting patterns usually seen across all areas of our lives. An obvious one would be not feeling good enough. This can be felt academically, at work, in a social setting, with your physical body, and perhaps just your entire life. But the worst part is the people, whether through relationships or friendships, as well as the situations that add on to this pattern in this case by making you feel like you're not good enough. The pattern will keep throwing itself at you over and over again, no matter how unfair, until you eradicate this pattern through action, change, and self-belief. Breaking out of patterns are difficult because of how easy it is to fall back into it. This is a difficult aspect of karma to digest, as it works on emotions, but karma is about action, right? These patterns usually push you to take the wrong actions or the right actions and reactions, creating either good or bad karma. If someone has a pattern of anger and it causes them to be violent, in order to stop the entire pattern, they need to stop the pattern of anger first. Once the emotion has been dealt with, the actions from the emotions usually stops as well. In this case, the right actions creates good karma, helping you to also break the pattern. For example, the person decides to still pursue their dreams of becoming a dancer, despite that fear of not being good enough. Through success and being seen, the person not only has a better life and more abundance, but has a better chance of getting rid of this pattern. More so, the person has most likely just fulfilled a soul's desire. On the other hand, if the person became consumed by not being good enough and took the wrong actions by taking the easier path of not being seen, they create bad karma. Simply by feeling wronged in life and having emotional bitterness, one can continue taking the wrong actions. In a lot of instances, lack of success would mean they would have to come back in the next or another life and try all over again. Now, the positive side of karmic patterns would not be labeled as patterns at all, but are essentially the good patterns we have embedded in us. Always telling the truth, perseverance, ability to learn new things, and self-confidence are some of these examples. This helps us break and fight our negative patterns and helps us create more good karma if used in the right way. Karmic action and reaction. Actions and reactions are essentially the same thing because a reaction is an action in itself. The way to differentiate between the two would be to see it as reaction, an action with cause, and an action with no cause. The reactions that are emotional would be categorized within the karmic patterns. But most emotional reactions lead to tangible actions, even if it's just eating chocolate to make yourself feel better. Actions and reactions relates back to the obvious definition of karma. For the negative and positive choices and actions you make on earth, you will have consequences. This is where the aspect of if you do good, good comes back to you, and if you do bad, bad comes back to you, becomes the most apparent. The action and reaction is the turning wheel of karma because you are continuously acting and reacting based on the karma happening to you. How we react to the karma we receive, whether good or bad, and what actions are we carrying out on a day-to-day basis due to this karma. Karmic action and reaction is also where our free will carries the most power, and therefore it is tested the most, and we will get into that shortly. But it doesn't stop there, as action and reaction creates two aspects of karma. One is the fixed karmic lessons or collections, and the other are the unfixed karmic lessons or collections. Once again, this will include both good and bad karma. The negative lessons are your bad karma and karmic debt you have to pay off via these lessons, whereas the collections are you receiving your good karma. Unfixed karma are smaller karmas that take place within the boundaries of the life you're living in and can be balanced out or erased with enough of the right action. Let's take an example. Sometimes you cheat once for the first time ever and you don't get caught. And then your free will now has the opportunity to decide to cheat again or not. If you do cheat again, the second time you will get caught. But if you don't ever cheat again, it will be like you never cheated. And by doing the right thing, you keep balancing out the unfixed karma in this life. Fixed karmic lessons and collections, on the other hand, are the lessons you bring into this life to make up for the wrong actions in your past lives or to collect and receive for the right actions in your past lives. These lessons are permanent and non-changeable, and it's not always about what happens to you, but what you have to do. In some lives, action is required for good karma to come in. If for some reason the lesson doesn't get carried out in this life, you will have to come back again and again until you go through this lesson. Let's say person A has to marry person J for karma to be cleared or received, but she takes on a different path and marries person X. Because this lesson or collection is permanent, but the future is never written from the present, person A will have to come back again and again until person A finally marries person J. The same way, if person A was supposed to get financial stability from their family and their family gambled all the money away or simply didn't give it to them, not allowing the karma to happen in this life, person A would still be owed it in another life. When it comes to karmic debt and lessons, the funny thing is that a lot of people also presume that what they have done will happen to them. but it is karma, so obviously have a bit of twist to them. For example, person X unfortunately raped someone in their past life. So in this life, their child gets raped. And that's what they have to deal with. And that's how they have to learn the hard way what it's like to hurt someone. Similarly, with karmic collection, person X saves someone's life by creating and giving them a job. So in a future life, whenever person X loses a job or something happens causing instability, there is somehow always another job or opportunity waiting for person X. Remember, it is not tit for tat or an eye for an eye. It is about us learning and growing. So these lessons are designed to push us in ways we would never consider. Karmic cell memory. Karmic cell memory are both positive and negative karmic memories and triggers stored in our cells and our DNA, and works very similarly to how muscle memory works. Your body is created from these memories. The way you look and talk, your genes, your DNA, all comes from your ancestors, and it is all shaped by karmic memory. Our karma also has to match our physical bodies, the way we look, our personalities, and our horoscope. When your body feels something or perceives something and naturally reacts, it is a trigger that our cells and bodies remember, but not us. A simple example would be those who have phobias and are terrified by snakes, but have no memory in this life of ever encountering a snake. Yet, just seeing a picture or hearing the word triggers something in them that causes intense fear. Not at all like me and you would be afraid of a snake. Here, the cells are remembering. Another example is meeting someone and immediately having an intense reaction, whether negative or positive, and you literally have no reason why. It may have even been an extremely short encounter, which makes the reaction even more questionable. Karmic memory is also commonly referred to as ancestral karma in the modern spiritual world because of how evidence-based this can be. A person could be going through a really bizarre situation, and if they go up their lineage, will probably find explanations for their situation. The same goes for drug addicts and alcoholics, where this can be a common pattern in their lineage, and it is seen as generational trauma. On the flip side, I believe the most common examples of good karma within karmic cell memories are the talents we have. An amazing painter, singer, or dancer, an academic genius, or even a guru. Many times you meet mediums, psychics, monks, and priests who have this in their lineage line for generations and are fully aware of it. Now, despite the fact that a major component of karmic cell memory is referred to as ancestral karma, the truth is that all karma is ancestral and derived from the past. After all, we are our own ancestors. The past has been done. Therefore, the karma you truly feel and breathe is in the present. The future is unwritten from the present because karmic lessons aren't complete and free will is still at play, making room for change and other possibilities. The past, present, and future on Earth is linear and can only occur in a linear manner, one after the other. The past on Earth can never be returned to, and the future will only come after the past and the present. Karma, on the other hand, works in a non-linear form. It is created from a place where past, present, and future is all in existence. But because karma can only be received on Earth and in physical form, it is all derived from the past and therefore all ancestral. When it comes to the karmic patterns, the ancestral impact here is that our negative ancestors in the fourth dimension will want to keep us trapped in these patterns, therefore do what they can to keep us there, via sending negative energy or negative whispering. While the positive ancestors of course help where they can to be free from these patterns, they are unfortunately less impactful from a higher dimension. The negative ancestors don't do this because they want more karma for you, but rather because they think that pattern is necessary for their lineage to further grow and their tradition to stay. Let's take the pattern of a woman not feeling good enough within an ancestral line, because men are seen to be above women in all aspects. It has been emphasized for many generations in this line that men are better, and if you're a woman, you're less of. Continuing the pattern of not feeling good enough allows for their tradition of men being above to stay intact much longer, especially in the modern day world. When it comes to karmic actions and reactions, they are based off karmic patterns you have inherited. These patterns are triggers and conditionings influencing your actions and reactions. Let's say in the same situation, this woman is faced with a condescending male boss at work. The boss will have a bigger effect on her emotionally and physically as she's carrying this pattern of not feeling good enough already, with the core aspect being men are better than women. The right action in this case would be to get through to the other side, learning that she's good enough and no man is above her without hurting anyone, including herself. The wrong action would be her leaving the job for one she doesn't like, escaping the situation rather than persevering through it. As you can see, all karma is connected, derived from the past, and can be seen as one larger entity. Karmic memory create your karmic patterns, and karmic patterns create your actions and reactions. At the same time, karma isn't between just you and the universe. It is between you and the people in the universe too. For the cycle to continue, everyone's karma has to also be connected in some way or the other. This establishes another part of karma, karmic servants. We are all karmic servants at the end of the day, serving karma to each other in one way or another in each and every lifetime. We are born in karmic families and we already have a karmic connection with majority of the people that we meet. Karma can visually be seen as a spider's web, where not only are we all connected, but our past, present, and futures is also all connected. And all of karma has to consistently be at play for the web to stay intact. And of course, through serving karma, you are still either paying off karmic debt, receiving good karma, or most likely a mixture of both. This is where we can ask, what about the child that was raped for a parent to learn a lesson? What about the victims of crimes? Babies that die early, the mentally and physically disabled. Sometimes our karma has to be presented to us through other people because that is the only way to learn the lesson. If a murderer must learn what loss is, then he or she can only learn via facing loss themselves, not being murdered. Some souls choose to take on these lessons to be lived through them for the sake of serving others, as well as taking on suffering to pay off karmic debt and gain some good karma in this or another life. As unfair as this may seem, it is actually a fair exchange between our souls and karma, as sometimes we need the help. No one would take on pain and suffering without reason, or more importantly, without karmic debt. A soul with extremely heavy debt can also choose a life of rest and gain a little bit of a reset. And by rest and reset, I mean a life of limited karma. Let's say person Z has to break the cycle of harming people every time they get angry. And life after life and generation after generation, person Z just cannot stop. The soul then decides to choose a life where person Z is mentally and physically disabled, for instance, and can only live through others looking after him or her, and therefore cannot really create more karmic debt. The soul takes on this role to clear a lot of karma at once. The soul is serving the family it was born in karma, the soul is clearing its own karmic debt via taking on this body, and the soul is also creating good karma. This allows the soul to rest, to reset a lot of its karma, work on its own soul connection to the physical, and finally have a better chance to change and break away from patterns in the next life. Some people are owed so much good karma that in some lives they are born into money, loving families, good genetics, and generally a good life. This is when karma is being served by his or her family to him or her, but it is good karma and karma that is owed to that person. And like I said earlier, most of us are serving for both karmic debt and collection, and this can be presented in many different ways. There are those who choose to take a bulk of their karmic debt in the first half of their life and collect good karma later on in life, allowing the serving to take place. The most common example of this is the rags to riches stories we hear. Most people in this category would have met some people who were unjust during their time of struggle. Their success alone is karma served to those who didn't believe in them, maybe left them, and didn't show any support. You have those designed to change their lineage energy or the direction of their lineage, serving karma to those who aren't willing to change and evolve for the better. And finally, love, relationships, and friendships, where a lot of karmic serving takes place, but is the least noticeable. Some people end up with a partner where they have to teach a lesson, receive a lesson, or both. So yes, we are all karmic servants, and essentially, this is another branch of karma. The next important thing to talk about is the duality of karma, free will. Free will and karma cannot exist without the other. If we had no free will, we would not be able to create karma, therefore there would be no karmic cycle. So free will is key in keeping the karmic cycle alive and turning. Karma has merged itself so beautifully with free will that we live in a world where many cannot see the difference between the two. And more so, majority choose to believe that it is all free will. The karma that is somehow emotionally tangible to us is what we call destiny or fate. By tangible, I mean the unexplained situations in our life that we can only put down to a higher force to make us feel better. Some examples of this are all of a sudden a children dies with no cause, or someone who is super healthy and doesn't smoke gets heart disease, or even someone that gets a divorce. The same goes for positive things, overnight fame, getting the job that you wanted, and meeting a partner. So destiny simply is the non-changeable or the fixed karmic debt, lessons, and collections in our lives. The problem with free will and karma being 2 feet of the same body is that they are both always in play, need and feed off each other, and the two cannot really be separated. We as humans try and control our free will through our individual's concept of good and bad. But karma is not about choosing to do good or bad with your free will. It is about choosing to do what is right over what is wrong in every given moment. Someone can do something that seems right with accordance to the way he or she has grown up and been raised, but karmically can actually be the wrong choice, and in many ways, vice versa. The other issue is what we define as good and bad will actually keep evolving throughout our lives, and majority of the time we forget that. So we think we truly always know what good and bad is when we don't. For example, for a child, sex is a bad thing. For an adult, it is a healthy thing. At school, if you get caught drinking, you will get in trouble. As an adult, you can openly drink. When you're a child, you can't touch knives. You're even told that they are dangerous. But as you grow up into a chef, the knife becomes your ally. So, in the space of growing up and within our own individual evolution of morals, experiences, and exposure, good and bad is consistently changing. Sometimes being good is just subjective to our upbringing, our parents, our communities, and our culture. This mistake is very evident in parenting, whereby all actions of a parent is derived from his or her own past, the lessons they acquired, the morals they grew up with, their perception of the importance of society, and their own personality traits. For example, let's take a mother who encourages her child to be a people pleaser for her own needs to be met in society, or a father who thinks tough love, fear-mongering, discipline, and sometimes violence is good for his children. In reality, both parents are acting out their own trauma, passing it to the children rather than healing from it. Furthermore, the parents think they are doing the good thing, or even the right thing, or the worst of them all, the best they can do. The hard truth is that every single person's free will is also clouded by society, culture, different perceptions, and conditioning from the minute they are born. Distinguishing between karma and free will is not important. It is through shedding the conditioning and societal expectations one can then truly make the most of their free will. I can guarantee that most people in the world are doing at least one thing a week that they don't really want to do, but are doing it for the sake of someone else in their life. Whether it's a parent, a child, a lover, a friend, or even an enemy. I am not telling you to run away from your responsibilities or to stop doing things at all, but observe the reasons for your actions and truly know why you're doing something. Even if you have to do something for someone else, let that be clear in your head and you will find your reason. I am doing this for love. I am doing this because I'm afraid. I am doing this because I want something in return. This practice in time will allow you to give yourself full access to your free will, allowing room for stronger karmic choices. Once you have your reason, the right action will eventually follow. Now, because we do not understand karma and we are never going to understand all of it, it is easy to fall into karmic loopholes, man-made ideologies of karma, and essentially karmic traps. These aren't actual traps out there to get you, but from the perception of one life, they can appear to be traps. So if you can be more aware of them, you have a better chance at dealing with and navigating your karma. The first and most obvious trap is the fact that we forget everything before coming back to Earth each time, staying in the cycle of always creating more karma. After understanding karma, we know this is necessary for the cycle to keep going, as remembering would be counterproductive for karma. If we remembered, the cycle of karma simply won't work. If we remembered, we would be more concerned in leaving the cycle than actually fulfilling our desires. We believe and remember at the right time. It is part of everyone's purpose and duty or dharma to clear karma in each life, but not just by paying back for the negative, but collecting for the positive too. Most people believe that we are stuck in a negative karmic cycle that we need to break out of. But in reality, it is a cycle of both good and bad, and it is a cycle of desires. One of the biggest reasons we stay in the loop is not because we need to always come back and pay karmic debt, but to also collect good karma. So karma isn't about getting rid of your desires, like some may claim, but it is about fulfilling them. Unfortunately, ego and free will are the biggest creators of bad karma. And in the lives of good karma, our egos take over. Our egos, unfortunately, don't recognize that it is simply receiving good karma. Therefore, most people with infinite money, fame, and power tend to misuse it, resulting in them just creating more bad karma for the next few lives. The other egoistic thing we do as humans are we give credit to ourselves. We have money because we worked hard. We got here because we didn't give up. But many have done this and still failed. So why are you really successful? Because karma is also on your side. Once our ego understands this, that all the success is not purely its own, but a combination of all the egos that have ever existed for your soul, then it evolves into a more awakened and expanded ego. This is one aspect of ego death, so stay tuned to my series for more. If the ego can understand, I didn't give up because I have the pattern of perseverance. I succeeded because it was in my karma to succeed. I can do this because I have done it before in another life. Then the ego gives itself the space to expand and grow. The ego acts as a glass ceiling, while karma allows you to break through this glass ceiling. It is almost like the ego is so aware of its own free will and obsessed with itself being in absolute control and charge that it prefers to negate the idea of karma. It is also human nature, essentially, that also keeps us stuck. We do not question when all things are good, but we question when things are going badly. So the universe sometimes has no choice but to force us to grow and learn from these negative spaces. Although the merge of free will and karma appears to be the trap, the reality is that we can hardly ever express our own free will to its full potential. Right and wrong is heavily dictated by people's perceptions and religions, and in today's world, karma has been evolved into a tool of control via fear and guilt. The idea of karma does exist everywhere, but in many ways has been simplified down to something negative and into black and white categories of good and bad. People have created God-fearing rules in the name of karma, such as heaven and hell and judgment day. But in reality, many of these rules are man-made and placed as a tool of control and power, whether to control children, communities, societies, or entire countries. So instead of using our free will to navigate our karma better, we as humans essentially taint our free will through giving it away or taking others. The other apparent karmic trap is that karma doesn't work linearly, one life after the other. Some people may believe if you do something bad in this life, then you'll receive something bad in this life. Those that believe in some idea of reincarnation believe you will pay for your karma in the next life. But karma doesn't work like that at all. We could still have lessons yet to learn in future lives and karma we haven't paid back or collected yet. A soul's karma is spread across lives, and sometimes we can only bring certain lessons into one life. So clearing karma in one life doesn't mean you have cleared your soul's karma. Sometimes you will pay your karmic debt over 5 different lives, and sometimes you will only collect your good karma 7 lives later. I believe this trap pushes people to not believe in karma because many times things wouldn't make sense. Sometimes people are okay to settle with the notion that life simply isn't fair or such is the way of life. For example, why is this person so bad but has the best things in the world? Why does this person work so hard but they keep getting robbed? Why is he or she so good looking but can't find love? The reason for this is because karma is chosen from a place where the past, present, and future all exist. A place of unconditional love, the 5th dimension. So, we choose karma from a place where we are not in confinement of time and space, from a place of love, a place without ego or our analytical minds, and finally from a space where one life is a flash in the grand scheme of our soul's eternity. But karma has to be lived out from a place of time, space, and ego. So if you capture someone's karma in this life, it can seem unequal or unfair with regards to both good and bad and right and wrong. But in the grand scheme of life, it is completely just and equal. And the final trap that I would like to share, which many may not be happy with, is that we are never born with a clean slate, not even in our first lives. The minute we decide to come to Earth, we automatically enter the cycle because you cannot operate as a human on Earth without being in the cycle. But karma isn't linear. It is a wheel with no start or end. You just enter within it and you exit out of it. We are a dependent race and we are born with the need to attach, the need to learn how to survive, and the need to be looked after and loved. We are born with needs, wants, and desires from our very first life. Once you choose to enter Earth to become physical and to enjoy all your senses and temptations for those senses, that is your first desire. Your second desire is choosing the family you want to be born into, accepting all their patterns, genes, DNA, and karma that comes with them. So yes, we have karma from our very first breath ever on Earth until our very last breath on Earth, where we finish our karma, exiting the wheel, never coming back to Earth again. So now that we have discussed the potential loopholes in karma, what about us? What help and hacks and assistance do we have? At this rate, we could stay stuck in the cycle forever. We have the mediators all the way up to God and God itself. We have crystals, psychics, mediums, healers, ancient scriptures, and teachers here on Earth. We have the angels, the fairies, the ascended masters, the deities, and the gods. We have tools provided to us, praying, meditation, healing, mantras, and even physical practices such as yoga and qigong. Whether you choose the path of meditation, yoga, energy healing, past life investigation, or simple devotion, it is all designed to help you clear your karma. By feeding your soul connection through any of these practices, you gain knowledge, whether internal or external, you clear energetic debris, and gain positive energies. Therefore, spirituality is the best compass to direct your karma. Healers and gurus can also help speed up this process. But remember, a healer in the light can only change what karma allows it to change, and you receiving the healing is in your karma in itself. Additionally, we have healers who can see past lives, helping us to truly understand our karma and get closer to the real concept of karma. Healers that can change the past energetically are only able to because those lives can never come back to Earth, thus removing karmic pressure. For example, someone with a lot of anxiety in this life has had it in past lives too. The fear and the worry practically sit in your cells and you become more prone to things like fight and flight mode. So when a healer clears away anxiety in your past lives, this helps you fight the pattern in this life. But remember, the healer cannot eradicate the pattern or actual karma for you. That is your battle to overcome. Those that are gifted to see the future can only see the changeable future, giving you a chance to change your free will that might reignite or add onto karmic patterns and karmic debt. Please use these gifts wisely and be discerning when choosing a healer and guru, as the world can be a very inauthentic place today. This game of karma has to exist for the system to exist, and this system has to exist for life to exist. And by this system, I mean our soul's journey back to God, which starts from our first lesson as new souls here on earth. Karma is an awakening on its own, and it is the price we pay for being physical. Karma is the key to everything happening in our lives. Our desires, our awakening, our attachments, our experiences, the people in our lives, and the way we look all comes down to what karma we have chosen in this life. Karma is the queen of duality, and it is both our teacher and our test. But at the same time, karma is a modality of balance and equality. And in the grand aspect of our thousands of lives, we all get a fair, equal chance and experiences at life. It is a beautiful cycle, allowing us to follow and fulfill all desires, whether good and bad, and also learn from them. Karma is the only way to provide universal equality, and karma is the only way to learn and grow enough to be able to move on to the next dimension. The karmic moral compass is very clever, pushing you to do good for yourself and for others at the same time without sacrificing one or the other. Doing the right things will always mean you're doing right by the collective, so do not focus too much on that. The small worries we have are usually corrected in this life, such as lying, not holding a door open, and arguments where you say mean things. Try and see your life as one step in the cosmic life we have, and know that you want that step to be in the right direction, whether it's by helping others in this life or helping yourself only in this life. You and your soul know what's right for you. And finally, remember that karma is respectful and it knows everything happening to everyone throughout all aspects of time. So the next time you're stuck between good and bad or right and wrong, take a step out of the box. Who is it right and wrong for? For society? For my parents? For my friends? Or for me? So guys, I know that was a lot of information and I hoped it sparked some inner clarity. And if you have any questions or thoughts, please feel free to drop them down below. Please also don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and see you next week on the Anayaverse. Bye! Thank you so much, everyone. I really hoped you enjoyed that. And if you missed last week's episode, please don't forget to check it out. The link will be somewhere up here or up here. And please don't forget to subscribe and click that bell icon to be notified for my next video. Take care. Bye.